Good night. Our motto is working towards healthier societies. Our discussion tonight is centered around longevity and increasing the quality of life. We are here to launch the kidney or renal
You ever had this trouble before?
A pleasant good night to all, and thank you for tuning in to a special edition of HealthWise by the St. Kitts Nevis Medical and Dental Association in collaboration with ZIZ Television and the Ministry of Health. I am your host, Dr. Joylette Woodley Faisal. Good night. Our motto is working towards healthier societies. Our discussion tonight is centered around longevity and increasing the quality of life. We are here to launch the long and anticipated kidney or renal transplant at the Joseph and France Hospital. We have had little nuggets from our Prime Minister, the Minister of Health, as it relates to kidney transplant. I am therefore elated that HealthWise was chosen as the platform to disseminate, to initiate discussions about this much needed program. What is kidney transplant? Who benefits from kidney transplant? And why now? Tonight I have with me special guests. I have the Prime Minister, the Honorable Terence Drew, Minister of Health et al. I also have the Director of Health Institutions, Dr. Jensen Morton, and I have our nephrologist, or the kidney doctor as we say, Dr. Dunia Dieguez. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. This is one HealthWise you do not want to miss.
Meet the Johnson family. Meet the Johnson family, living a good life. How are they able to afford all this? By switching their mortgage to National. And you too can take advantage of this great offer. Yes, National Bank's Switch Mortgage will make your dreams a reality with the lowest interest rates guaranteed. You will have more disposable income than ever before. Imagine the possibilities. National Bank Switch Mortgage makes all the difference. Come home to National Bank and get your Switch Mortgage today. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
And we are back with another HealthWise, and tonight is a special edition. We are launching the kidney or renal transplant that will take place. This program will take place at the Joseph in France Hospital. In studio tonight, I have the Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew. Good night, Mr. Prime Minister. How are you doing?
Thank you, Dr. Woodley. I'm well.
Thank you for being here. My dad used to say, if you're working on a Friday, you mean business. Dr. Drew, what message of hope as we are launching this kidney transplant program? What message of hope can you give to the person who lives in St. Paul's, in Deerbeek, who is suffering from end-stage renal disease?
Thank you very much, Dr. Woodley. Let me acknowledge, of course, all others around the table, and to say good night to our citizens and residents and all who are tuning to ZIZ at this particular time. I want to thank you, Dr. Woodley and HealthWise, for really taking up the opportunity to launch this new initiative on this, health program. What we want to do here is to really launch a program that will benefit, as you said, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, no matter where they live or they steady in life. As long as they need this type of medical care, we want to make it available. And so when we look back, and I know the nephrologists will get into it, that we are seeing an increase in renal disease. And I would attribute that to some extent to chronic diseases as well, such as hypertension, diabetes, obesity, and the likes. But not getting into all the diseases that lead to end-stage renal disease, which is where you need dialysis or transplant as the modalities of treatment. And the different type of dialysis, which I know the nephrologists will get into, we use two of them here, the peritoneal, where they put the tubes in the abdomen, and also we do the hemodialysis. And we know that dialysis for end-stage renal disease is a type of therapy that is not definitive in terms of what the end goal is. However, we know that renal transplant is the best option. We also know that renal transplant is cheaper, associated with a better quality of life, and therefore we want to offer this to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. As you said, it is something that I had been speaking about. Last year when I traveled to the UK, I met with Dr. Hakim, who we will hear from soon at some point. Dr. Hakim is a transplant surgeon who worked both at the Imperial College and at Cleveland Clinic, both in London. And he has, of course, collaborated with us in terms of launching this program. At lunch in London, he and I discussed this. I brought him down shortly after for him to really meet our healthcare professionals, be introduced to our hospital and so forth. And from there, we decided that we would launch the renal transplant program. And over the last weeks, well, to months, we have been putting this in place. And so I'm happy to announce tonight that we are now in a place to launch kidney or renal transplant here in St. Kitts and Nevis. This is an option now to our people here who suffer from end-stage renal disease, whether it be for whatever cause, that they can have this as an option. So the government has partnered with Dr. Hakim, and of course we are strengthening our dialysis unit by making sure we have adequate staff in terms of the nephrologists who are there, making sure that we have our theater, our operating room with the necessary personnel in terms of anesthesiologists and supporting staff as well. And also we have our Department of Surgery, which will be partnering with making sure that this gets off. But I would like to say that this is exciting news, especially for those who need definitive treatment when it comes to end-stage renal disease. And for the first time in St. Kitts and Nevis, we are at a point where we can offer this to our people. So I'll stop there and just say I'm excited about it and let you all get more into the details of it. I have to remember, I have to take off my doctor hat now.
No, Honorable Prime Minister, we want you to keep your doctor hat on. I know you're very diplomatic and you're trying to contain yourself. But I am super excited that we are launching this tonight. We are bringing this to you, the people of the Federation. This is something that would improve the quality of life significantly. I mean, I'm bursting at my seams with happiness that your cabinet and you as Minister of Health, you are actually pushing this. I mean, you have pushed. And I am so happy that we are here speaking about it and we can look down and actually see that this is something that is going to happen in the near future. So I'm going to move over to the Director of Health Institutions, Dr. Morton. And what is the atmosphere like at the hospital? How is the general population at the hospital accepting this? What is the feedback on ground? How far things are going?
All right. Well, good evening. So first of all, the atmosphere for this from the staff, it's been something that brings them some kind of excitement. If it's one thing that everyone agrees with, it's that anything that can give more hope and more options to the persons that suffer from end-stage renal disease is something that the staff is going to be all for. Anything to either improve the dialysis options, or in this case, anything to give them another treatment modality. The renal department and the hemodialysis unit, if it's one thing, there are unfortunately quite a number of persons that are on dialysis that are actually younger persons, and some of these are younger persons with children and younger persons that have their whole lives ahead of them. And dialysis is, even though it's a treatment modality that's available to them, it is something that can really cause some significant impact on the quality of life. It takes usually 3 sessions a week. It's quite a number of hours per dialysis session. And even though the government has done plenty to reduce the financial burden of dialysis on persons, it is still something that does cause a level of financial impact. And even with some of the best care out there, sometimes just due to not having the fully functional kidney being present in their bodies, energy levels are not what they normally would be, and just some overall lethargy might be there, which could prevent them from being able to actively work as hard as probably they would if they did not have this affliction. So having the option out there of a renal, it's something that is looked forward to by quite a number of persons. It will take the collaboration of those persons with some close family members that can be a genetic match to them to step up to the mantle and a kidney to their family members, such that that person can get back on their feet with regards to having a high quality of life again. And we are working on that aspect of things, and the feedback thus far has been positive, especially for, like I mentioned, some of the younger persons that are in the hemodialysis unit. But again, I said the staff, they're generally excited about it. It's a new procedure, so everyone's always excited about a new procedure. Everyone's always excited about the opportunity to learn more, to participate greater in new medical treatment options.
So thank you so much, Dr. Morton. And What we want to reiterate here on the show is that this is one of many shows or forums or fora we're going to have as it relates to kidney transplant. As Dr. Morton said, it's a new modality, and we're going to go very basic. It's another option. And it's a very good option for persons who are suffering from end-stage renal disease, persons who have to be hooked up 3 times a week to a dialysis machine. As Dr. Morton said, yes, the Prime Minister, Minister of Health, they have reduced the price, and kudos, Minister of Health, thank you so much.
Yes.
But there is a psychological impact that being hooked to a machine 3 times per week would have on somebody. So if you can give a transplant, a kidney, another new kidney to someone, that quality of life has changed significantly.
Yes.
So, Minister of Health, I know you said you don't want to put on your doctor hat, but once you become a doctor, that's it for life. So are we just going to throw out dialysis out of the door? Should our patients no longer go to their DMOs because there's a new option and we can get a kidney and move on? That is what we want to get to the public out there, because we want to make sure that people begin to understand, begin to make your notes, and ask the correct questions, because later on you can call in. So, Minister of Health, Honorable Prime Minister, what is the message we are sending out there to our people?
Well, the first message that we want to send is prevention. And prevention means taking care of your health so that you do not get to the stage of end-stage renal disease. There are genetic causes, of course, over which you don't have control, or some people don't have control, but the vast majority are as a result of chronic diseases and lifestyle. So our first option is always that. So I encourage people to exercise, to make sure they manage their weight, they eat well, and I think the nephrologist is here who will get more into stuff like that, but I want to encourage that. That is the first message we want to send. If you come down with any of the chronic diseases, that you control them even before you get to end-stage renal disease. So you manage your blood pressure, your diabetes, and so forth to prevent kidney disease. Once you get into kidney disease, there's still hope, because there are different stages that you go through, and you can halt it or you can delay it as much as possible, again with good lifestyle practices. Now, once you get to end-stage renal disease, the options, as we mentioned, are dialysis. And now we want to offer the best option, which is renal transplant, so that our people can have access. You know, and we know at the hospital, the nephrologist will get into it, there are a lot of young people who have end-stage renal disease. And the best option for these young people is to have a kidney transplant, which improves their lifestyle, their life, better quality of life, cut cost, and give them a new leash and hope for the future. And therefore we want to offer this. Not only this, it shows that the JNF hospital is really looking at becoming more and more modernized. It's important that we advance the type of care we can offer at the hospital. So this is one of them. So I would say, with the cost as well, we bear the cost. So when we cut the cost for the patients, the government carries the cost. So it's a significant cost for us. So if we can cut cost, that would help the government and of course help the treasury, and that funding that we put into this can be used for something else, of course. Nonetheless, we want to make sure that this is an option for our people here in the Federation, and we will discuss further as to how we can introduce it to people beyond the Federation, so that we can help our brothers and sisters around the region, the sub-region, and the region as a whole. But all in all, I would say this is really helping to advance our healthcare system and making sure that our people can get this type of highly specialized care here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you so much. And I'm hoping that the listeners or the viewers at home, I hope you are taking notes. And you can always call into ZIZ and leave your questions, and they would get in touch with us, and we would try our utmost best to get back to you. This is something exciting. This is something where we say we're small but we tall. And I always remember the Psyche Southwell during those independence speeches and lectures, where she said we should use our size to our advantage. And I think this demonstrates that we are using our small size to our advantage. Now, we have the doctor who is going to be leading this transplant online, Dr. Hakim. He's in the UK. It's like 1 o'clock over there right now. And he has called in to give his input as it relates to the renal transplant program at the JNF hospital. Dr. Hakim, are you there? Dr. or Professor Nede Hakim. He's a surgeon specializing in transplant and bariatric surgery with particular interests and expertise in kidney and pancreatic organ transplant. So we are trying to get him on the line so he can infuse this conversation with all the little nits and bits that we may not have. Okay, so we have missed him, but we're going to take a short break and we will be right back. Please stick and stay.
National Home Loans. Get your dream home.
I'm an accountant, and you know what excites me? Precision. Just like crunching numbers accurately, National Bank's Apex Mortgage offers the lowest interest rate in the country, 3.99% guaranteed.
Precision is essential in construction as well. Just like Apex Mortgage's attention to the detail of our dreams. If you are a college or university graduate, this is your opportunity.
Details are everything for an engineer, and Apex Mortgage recognizes this. Offering up to 40 years for repayment, it perfectly complements my home ownership needs. Plus, National has my back with a 3-month payment grace period.
Apex Mortgage for me and me.
And me too.
National Home Loans. Home ownership made easy. When you're with National, you're home.
We never know when a storm may strike, but we can be prepared. At Skelec, we work tirelessly to keep our customers connected. When a storm is approaching, we activate our hurricane preparedness and response plan. We monitor the storm and work closely with the authorities. We'll need you to ensure that there are no trees in the lines near you. If you need our help, call us for more information. It is likely that there will be a power outage, so make sure all your devices are fully charged. If you have a generator, make sure the changeover switch works. Ensure you have enough fuel and that your generator is isolated from the grid. It's best that you power off your main switch from the electrical panel and unplug all appliances. When calling to report faults, tell us everything. Don't leave any information out. After the storm, our response teams will assess the damage to our network. Be sure not to worry. Skelec is right here with you when you need us most.
National Home Loans. Get your dream home.
I'm an accountant, and you know what excites me? Precision. Just like crunching numbers accurately, National Bank's Apex Mortgage offers the lowest interest rate in the country, 3.99% guaranteed.
Precision is essential in construction as well. Just like Apex Mortgage's attention to the detail of our dreams. If you are a college or university graduate, this is your opportunity.
Details are everything for an engineer, and Apex Mortgage recognizes this. Offering up to 40 years for repayment, it perfectly complements my home ownership needs. Plus, National has my back with a 3-month payment grace period.
Apex Mortgage for me and me.
And me too.
Get your dream home.
National Home Loans. Home ownership made easy. When you're with National, you're home.
Pleasant good night, and thank you for joining HealthWise for this special edition. And we are launching kidney or renal transplant that will take place in the near future at the Joseph and Franz Hospital. Tonight I have with me the Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, and he has been giving us little teasers about the kidney or renal transplant program. He wants to increase the infrastructure as it relates to the health services and the medical services at our hospital. And doing a kidney transplant or creating a renal transplant service is indeed such a venture. I have here with me as well our kidney doctor, the nephrologist, Dr. Dunia Diegues. And Dr. Diegues, you have worked with many persons with end-stage renal disease. And we know many of them are young people. Who would benefit most from this renal transplant program?
We have around 40 patients in hemodialysis now, but less than 50 years old, around 15 patients.
Mm-hmm. Around 15 patients?
Around 15 patients, less than 50 years old. And of course, the kidney transplant is the best option for them because we will increase the quality of life of them, not only for the health, the quality of life includes that the patient come to the hospital 3 times per week, and sometimes it's 4 hours or more time in the machine. And too much complication can come in dialysis patient. And what kidney transplant is the best because it's an organ, it's a new organ. And dialysis only can replace remove the waste substance and the fluid, but the kidney will replace the whole function of the kidney. That patient will have better bones health, better less complication in the heart, the metabolism calcium phosphorus increase, the all function of the kidney will be recovered. That's why it's the best option for them.
And I love that you say it is the best option, and especially for young patients. So instead of being hooked to a dialysis machine, I know we had some footage, I don't know if we will be able to show that tonight, but instead of them being hooked to a machine, they get a whole new organ which would carry out the function that they were missing. So having a kidney transplant, they go back to living or almost near normal life. So Dr. Diegues, who can get a kidney? Anyone can just go and say, okay, I'm a candidate for a kidney?
Okay, and the donor need to be, in this case, because it's possible cadaveric donor or living donor. In that case, it's living donor. The patient need to be family to the donor need to be family of the patient, daughter, son, mother, father, sister, brother, or cousin. More than 18 years old, with good health, of course, no diabetes, no hypertensive, not smoker, not severe obesity, no alcoholic, yes. And when the patient is, when the donor is ready, we can check and decide if the patient is ready for give the organ to his family.
Okay, so what we are saying here, Dr. Morton, and I want you to jump in to explain what type of donor we are going to use when we are launching or when we are carrying out this program.
So the type of donor that we use, as Dr. Diegues had mentioned, it's going to be a live donor. So there are 2 ways in which you could do this, as Dr. Diegues mentioned, either a live donor or a cadaver donor. So when we say cadaver, we mean that someone that would have passed away and the healthy organs within their body, and even though they've passed away, that those healthy organs would have been harvested and kept to be used by someone later down. Unfortunately, with regards to cadaver donations, we will have one little obstacle at this point in time. That would be to do all of the tests necessary to make sure that it's a genetic match. We can't do them on island at this point in time We have just set up a partnership with Colombia to get that genetic testing done, but it will take at least a few days. And if it is using a cadaver, then by that time the kidney might not be in optimal condition for a transplant. But if it's a live donor, meaning the family member comes in and that family member donates the kidney, well, that family member does the genetic testing, and both the family member and the donor, we get the testing to make sure that it's going to be a match. Then when that person donates the kidney on the exact same day, after it's been removed, it can go into the body of the recipient, and within a few hours time we could just check and see if the urine is actually being produced, and we'll know that it's been successful. And the procedure has a very high success rate, near 100% success rate.
And what we have to let...
Go ahead. Hold on, Dr. Hakim.
Oh, okay. So we have Dr. Hakim here online. We have him on telephone.
Perfect.
I don't know if it can be heard, but Dr. Hakim is actually going to be spearheading the program here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Dr. Hakim is an expert in kidney transplant. Dr. Hakim, can you say a few words so we can know if our listening and viewing audience can hear you?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know whether you can just put the microphone close to the phone.
We have done that. We are improvising.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Oh, perfect. This is the best. This is a very good example of how we can improvise in anything we do to be successful. So this is the first test. So I heard Dr. Drew, Dr. Woodley, thank you so much for the fantastic introduction. I'm so excited to be able to take part in this fantastic program, which I'm sure will be a success. I've had the same experience in many other countries, including Nigeria, Senegal, Sudan, etc. It does work. And I had the privilege to visit St. Kitts, which I loved. And I know that the hospital is now equipped to perform the first ever kidney transplant in St. Kitts. You kindly mentioned the potential recipients of the kidney transplant. And as you mentioned too, we need the donors available, and these are live related donors. And just to reassure the listeners that live donation is extremely safe. In other words, the donation takes very little time, and the patient recovers within 2-3 days. They can go home, and the safety is almost perfect. I mean, nothing is 100% in medicine, but I would say that having done myself over 3,000 kidney transplants, the live donation is an extremely safe procedure. So I would encourage any loved ones who have got family members who are on dialysis to come forward and offer one of their kidneys. I always say that God created us with 2 kidneys so that we can offer one of them. And this is how I look at it. And very honestly, I just got back yesterday from Nigeria, and believe it or not, in 2.5 days I performed 6 kidney transplants, and I've done both the donor and recipient, so it is feasible. And all of them did extremely well. So I really think you're very lucky to have a Prime Minister who is himself a nephrologist, who knows all about it, and he's the Minister of Health too. I can remember distinctly, over 15 years ago, I've done a kidney transplant on a patient from St. Kitts who came with his sister who donated a kidney. So it does happen, but I think you deserve to have it done at home in your home country and not having to travel anywhere, whether it's Colombia or the States or the UK. Why not do it at home? And I'm more than happy to offer my services to come and help with this program, which is badly needed in your part of the world.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hakim. This is Prime Minister Drew. And of course, the initial discussion was over lunch at a restaurant right on a trip. And we have made it happen along with an excellent team here in St. Kitts and Nevis, many of whom are listening, and a few of them are at the table in terms of Dr. Morton, Dr. Woodley, and Dr. Dieguez. So we are here ready. And on the nephrology part, yes, I was supposed to start fellowship in nephrology at the University of Texas, but then I came home and got into other endeavors, serving our people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So I just want our people to know that this started as a simple conversation at lunch in the UK, and that I think was around the time of the coronation, if I'm not mistaken. That was this year. And
correct.
Yes, and now we are here at the point, and we are ready to go. So as you said, it doesn't take a lot sometimes to get great things started, and we have shown that tonight by improvising. And the people can hear you very clearly, Dr. Hakim. Just to give some background, your objective is really to help St. Kitts and Nevis, that your son is also in the field, as people might think about how can we sustain this, and also because we have made links with other institutions around the region meaning the Latin American region, in Colombia, to help us with some of the issues of tissue, typing and so forth. And you have also made contact to make sure we get the requisite medication that will be needed for this as well. And we have also the instruments that are necessary in this case. And one of the things you told me is that we would need nephrologists, and we are getting a next nephrologist. We have a very experienced nephrologist here with us in Dr. Dieguez, and we are getting another nephrologist who is an experienced nephrologist. We have increased the number of dialysis machines at the unit. And you said that we needed an experienced anesthesiologist. We had two very good and experienced anesthesiologists, and we have added a third anesthesiologist to the cadre of that department. So I think we are in a very good position right now to launch first time ever renal transplant, organ transplant here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I want to thank you, Dr. Hakim, on behalf of the grateful people of St. Kitts and Nevis, for offering your services to make sure that our people have a definitive option when it comes to dealing with end-stage renal disease. And to add, it's after 1 in the morning in the UK, and you are up to share with us. Already you are showing your deep commitment to this program. So as you said, once people come forward, we will be in a position to help them, and we will also offer this to our brothers and sisters in the region and beyond. As you said, you had a patient from St. Kitts in the UK who benefited from your services. We want our people to also benefit from this. So I want to thank you so much, Dr. Hakim, and I don't know if you have any other thoughts you want to share?
I just wanted to make sure that the local surgeons will benefit from this, and of course I will show them how to do it, and I'll teach them how to do it, because obviously I don't want to leave just scars on patients. I want to leave skills in other surgeons within the island, you see. So I want them to learn from me. I'll be coming, as you mentioned, I might come with my son initially, because he assists me all the time with my surgeries, but I would like to teach Dr. Woodley and her assistants, etc., how to do it.
Yes.
And any surgeon taught how to do any procedure by an expert can learn it very easily.
Thank you very much. And you also offer, Dr. Hakim, fistulas. These are the operations that some of our students have to go, patients go to Colombia for. We also have
exactly. I mean, fistulas and lines and grafts. And you know, the Colombian head of the transplantation in Colombia is a very good friend of mine. But you know, having somebody on site, you know, in a week we can do 10 fistulas and 3 transplants. Why not?
Thank you so much, Dr. Hakim, Dr.
you.
Woodley here, and thank you for calling in. Thank you for staying up.
I was watching the program on my TV, but obviously now that I'm connecting with you, I have to switch it off so that there's no interference.
Thank you so much.
But you look all fantastic.
Thank you, and we are waiting on you.
And this WhatsApp, Dr. Drew, is a genius. Having connected me with the WhatsApp worked after all. Then you should teach the technicians how to do it. Because they had no idea. All the best.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hakim.
Good evening to all of you.
Thank you,
Dr. Hakim.
Thank you very much. Have a blessed
And I look forward to flying to St. Kitts very, very soon.
Yes. We are waiting for you, Dr. Hakim. Have a blessed
Thank you so much.
All right.
All the best. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. On that note, we will take a break, and we're going to come right back to understand what it means to give. See you in a minute.
Okay, this is the hemodialysis.
We never know when a storm may strike, but we can be prepared. At Skelec, we work tirelessly to keep our customers connected. When a storm is approaching, we activate our hurricane preparedness and response plan. We monitor the storm and work closely with the authorities. We'll need you to ensure that there are no trees in the lines near you. If you need our help, call us for more information. It is likely that there will be a power outage, so make sure all your devices are fully charged. If you have a generator, make sure the changeover switch works. Ensure you have enough fuel and that your generator is isolated from the grid. It's best that you power off your main switch from the electrical panel and unplug all appliances. When calling to report faults, tell us everything. Don't leave any information out. After the storm, our response teams will assess the damage to our network. Be sure not to worry. Skelec is right here with you when you need us most. We never know when a storm may strike, but we can be prepared. At Skelec, we work tirelessly to keep our customers connected. When a storm is approaching, we activate our hurricane preparedness and response plan. We monitor the storm and work closely with the authorities. We'll need you to ensure that there are no trees in the lines near you. If you need our help, call us for more information. It is likely that there will be a power outage, so make sure all your devices are fully charged. If you have a generator, make sure the changeover switch works. Ensure you have enough fuel and that your generator is isolated from the grid. It's best that you power off your main switch from the electrical panel and unplug all appliances. When calling to report faults, tell us everything. Don't leave any information out. After the storm, our response teams will assess the damage to our network. Be sure not to worry. Skelec is right here with you when you need us most.
Hi, pleasant good night. And if you're just joining in, you have missed a beautiful program so far. We have launched kidney or renal transplant program that will be taking place at the Joseph and Franz Hospital in the near future. We are here with the Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, who is pushing for this to happen. And it seems as if, no, it will come to fruition in the near future. We are also here with the Director of Health Institution, Dr. Jensen Morton, who has laid the groundwork or who has helped us to understand all the complexities of bringing such a program together at the Joseph and Franz Hospital. We have with us a special guest who understands better than most of us the meaning of giving. We have with us Ms. Naima Hassel, who herself is a donor. She has donated one of her kidneys to a family member. Naima, pleasant good night, and thank you for being here. And you have just told us that this is the first time?
It's the first time. I think before the Prime Minister asked me, I didn't realize it's actually the first time I think I've publicly spoken about my kidney donation. Yes.
So this is indeed a special edition of HealthWise. We are getting a lot of firsts. We have the Prime Minister. And now we have someone who is willing to share that journey with us. So Ms. Hazel, how was that journey? How did it begin? What pushed you to do that?
Funny enough, it actually began right here in St. Kitts. My brother had moved back home, and he had been ill, and he'd been taking some medication for his heart. And one day he told us he just wasn't feeling very well. We went to the hospital, and we were informed by the doctors that his kidneys had failed, and there was just really nothing that could be done. And actually very grateful to Dr. Saheli, who, I don't know, I like to call him MacGyver, so he just patched everything together, and they were able to get him on dialysis and to strengthen him enough to go back to Canada. Because I know earlier you were saying it's so important that we shouldn't have to leave to have to get care. And so we had to take him back to Canada. So when he went back to Canada, he was there on dialysis for almost 3 years. And it's very difficult. He had 2 small children, as I said, 3 days a week, 4 hours. And it was really just taking a toll on his family. And so we decided as a family that we would be tested. And I was the first one tested, and I was a match. And so I decided that I would donate for my brother.
And how old were you at that time?
That was in 2014. Yeah, 2014. I had 2 small children still, but it actually didn't feel like, people always say, oh, it's very brave of you, but to me, it seems very selfless, but you know, we have 2 kidneys, and I was enjoying a very good quality of life with 2 very healthy kidneys, and he had no kidney. And I know that we think, oh, this doesn't affect our family, but it can affect your family. And the fact that I was able to help him and do something for my family, I think was very meaningful, and it saved his life. And I think I'm very happy for that. I don't regret it even one day.
This is a true example of love. So did it affect your life in any way? Emotionally, physically? Because here on island, persons are afraid to give body parts up. For example, persons don't want to amputate because they want to go back to the grave, as they say, with all of their body parts. Yes. Ladies don't want to remove their wombs if they have fibroids, etc., because you know, we hold on to our body parts.
Yes.
Were you going through those type of emotions, that roller coaster?
No, actually, I think I went in a little bit too easy. I think I didn't imagine it was actually going to be challenging at all. The recovery takes rest. I think for me it was difficult because I had to have a difficult time resting and staying still. So for me, that's why recovery was difficult. And you can't really explain to somebody when you remove an organ, it takes a while for your other organs to kind of find their way back. It's like, oh, we made space, we have to fix ourselves back in. But the surgery itself, going in, there's a lot of tests. But when you go into the surgery, the doctor tells you, count back from 10. And when you wake up, the kidney is gone and you're just in recovery. I was actually only in the hospital for 2-3 days. And then I was able to be released from hospital and then be able to rest. And I rested comfortably I took maybe 6 weeks off. 7 weeks off. So in the beginning, it just means you have to rest a little bit more. You have to give yourself a break. But in the long term, I don't have any long-term effects as long as I'm taking care of my health. My brother takes very excellent care of our kidney. We actually call her Kidney. She has a nickname. We call her Kidney. He takes very good care of our kidney. He keeps up with his medication and his follow-through, and he sees his nephrologist regularly. And so now it's 2014, it's 2023, and he's living very healthy with the kidney, raising his children.
So how many years would have that been? Since
it's 9 years.
9 years since
yes, since the third
So
grade.
Naima, I want you to look at the camera and speak to the family members because the objective of this program is to get family members to donate.
Yes.
Let them know the importance. So if you're in your living room looking at this program, looking at this program from your phone, Naima, speak to them because the donors would actually make the program run.
Yes. I plead to you. I was a living donor. Being a living donor is so much better for the outcomes for the patient than a cadaver donor. So this is a great opportunity for us. I speak to you not just personally because of the experience I had in my family, but professionally because I had a lot of clients that are actually on dialysis when I was a psychologist, and I saw the toll that it took on them emotionally, in their families, financially and socially. It's very difficult for them to work and to be able to function in society, which you would know if it's something that affects your family. And then also as an advocate, I'm also the representative on the Tribute to Life Foundation, which encourages exactly this. I can't believe that I joined this foundation and now the Prime Minister has done this in our country. This is a great opportunity for us. A lot of islands don't have this opportunity, and you can really save a life. I think that we don't think it matters until it happens to you, but it can happen to you. And as a community, we have to care about each other. You just have to make an effort for each other and make a selfless act of love for each other, because you can save somebody's life with your life. And it's important to be a donor. We should really consider adding donation to the regular part of the fabric of our life, like attaching it to your national ID, making a decision whether or not you can donate. When you go, you don't get to take it with you. So it's important that we think about the quality of life of the people that we care about, the people in your family. As you heard the doctor said, who's my nephrologist, say you have to think about your families, and families are who donate. So it's so important for you. And so I just say I don't have a single regret. I'm really grateful that I did that for my relative, and I hope that we would consider us as a society doing it for our relatives and our family and our fellow citizens as well.
I'm going to be a little mischievous. Do you hold it over his head? I give you my kidney.
I don't, but he thinks that there's things he likes now that he didn't like before, and he's convinced it's because of my kidney.
Thank you for that light moment. So there you have it, being a donor. I mean, we give blood all the time. This is now on another level. You can see the impact it will have on your family. Her brother was saved. He's around to enjoy all the family occasions, all the happy times. His children, they have their father with them for a much longer time. So we are pleading to the family members of all of those persons who visit the dialysis unit at JNF Hospital to think seriously about this. We are doing donations from live persons, from family members. So we're going to give the numbers if anybody wants to call in quickly, because we're about to finish, which is 466-2666, 662-8674, 767-4765. And on that note, we're going to ask our presenters, our panelists, to give their closing thoughts as it relates to the kidney or renal transplant program that will be coming to the JNF Hospital. As I said before, this is one of many conversations we are going to have. We are here to bring awareness as it relates to kidney transplant, who can be a donor, who can be a recipient. So we're going to start to my far right with the Director of Health Institutions, Dr. Jensen Morton, to give his closing remarks. And then we're going to have our Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, to also give his final remarks. And I know he will be continuing to push and push for this. And then we're going to have our closing remarks from our special guest who understands what it is to give. I mean, oh, actually, because Naima, I keep seeing you, I would have never imagined that you would have given up a kidney like that. You're always bubbly, always going about your business. I would have never imagined you would have done such a selfless act.
Which means everybody can do it.
Okay, so Dr. Morton, give us your final thoughts.
So my final thoughts would just be to let everyone know that this project, it's nothing that, even though it started with, you can call it like a mustard seed, it is something that we have been planning and preparing for many months. It's not anything that we would have just done quote unquote overnight. We got all of the things in place with regards to the partnerships needed, with regards to the staff needed, the materials needed, the necessary technical expertise outfitted. And this is just to ensure that everything is as safe as possible here for this program. I would also like
Dr.
to let
Degas
everyone
something.
know, just a reminder that all of this is part of a larger kidney health project. We were in discussions with the special advisor to the ministry, Dr. Patrick Martin, and he's keen on it not just being us saying that we can transplant kidneys, but we also have to have the strong involvement of community health as well to ensure that we really reach out with regards to the preventative part of kidney failure, as well as with regards to the control of the chronic diseases and early detection to prevent its progression. So that, coupled with an increase in the amount of treatment options in the event that it does happen, that is the ultimate goal, to ensure that healthcare with regards to kidneys in the Federation, that it's taken to the next level. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Morton. And Ms. Hazel, please give us your closing remarks as well.
Well, I just spoke, so I'll just be brief. I just want to encourage people. I know that we can be very afraid of things that we are not familiar with, but there's really not anything to be afraid of. You know, you just have to take that first step for your families. It's new to us, it's new, but just because something is new doesn't mean that it's not great for us. This is such a wonderful, like my whole spirit is excited, like Dr. Woodley, about this opportunity for our country, and I really hope that other families will be able to be as positively affected as my family was, and that people will push past their fears, ask more questions, and just take advantage of this great opportunity to change and improve the livelihoods of our citizens and our families.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hazel. And we're going to have a few words from Dr. Dieguez, our nephrologist, or the kidney doctor, as we call her. And Dr. Dieguez, your final departing words, which won't be the last time, however.
If any family member want to know any doubt about that, can go to see me in JNF Hospital, and I can clarify any doubt that they will have about that kidney transplant.
Thank you so much. And we leave our final words for our Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Joo. And before I close up, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule tonight, Friday night, for being here with us and using HealthWise to begin one of many discussions we are going to have about kidney transplant. Dr. Joo?
Thank you very much, Dr. Woodley, and I want to thank all the panelists for this evening's proceedings. I also want to thank Dr. Hakim, who joined us by telephone, and the people of St. Kitts and Nevis who are watching and listening. I would like to say that we are in this to make sure that we improve access to good and quality health care. I know when I spoke about organ transplant initially, people thought it was just a pipe dream. But tonight, in just a few months, we are able to put a team together to bring this type of treatment to you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so we are asking that those who can benefit would seek to benefit from this. I'd like to say tonight, before I say my final word, is when I spoke to Naima about it, and she revealed to me that she is a donor and her family member was a recipient, I think to a great extent that really inspired me that this is really, really possible. I think this is the first time I'm saying this. And she's hearing it, but it inspired me. And I said that if she can do it, and she got it done in Canada, I saw it in the United States, and I thought that it would be possible here. And then meeting Dr. Hakim, and she reminded me it was dinner and not lunch. And meeting Dr. Hakim, where we had that initial conversation, and now in November, before the end of 2023, we are bringing this to you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so I want to thank all those involved. This is very, very exciting news that we can have JNF upgraded to such treatment options for our people here. And of course, I look forward to offering this to our brothers and sisters here in the sub-region of the OECS and the wider CARICOM if needs be. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for spending some of your Friday night with us. But this had to be done so that you, the people who will be the beneficiaries, can be informed of this. Thank you and have a pleasant evening.